This guy may have acted on his own, but ISIS clearly was egging him on. And what are we carrying on about? Well, how much we torture potential bad guys, and not former CIA operative Wayne Simmons says how much they still want to kill us guys. You know, Wayne, it is weird, right? I mean, when push comes to shove, they want to shove us off the planet, and we're playing Marcus of Queensberry roles, aren't we?
Yeah, listen, Neil, I think it would be safe to say that there is virtually no American that watched 9/11 that does not have the visions of our Americans and others jumping from 105 stories, having their bodies, just the flesh seared off of them from a terrorist attack, and all of the mayhem that we're still suffering from the firemen, the policemen, the first responders, and the civilians. So you're absolutely right. We're concerned. As one of my very few heroes said the other night, Vice President Dick Cheney, when you've got the bad guy in front of you, what are you going to do? Ask him, pretty, please tell us what you know? No. We're going to use enhanced interrogation techniques, and we are going to break him until we get that information.
Yeah, well, you're a better expert than I am in whether they actually yield the results. People like John McCain say they don't. He's been through hell himself, so I'll defer to you gentlemen to argue that particular point out. But I will agree with you on this point that it certainly shows a distraction on our part with everything that's going on. And I'm not minimizing the racial riots we've had in this country, but anyone outside this country wishing us ill could look at that and say, God, they're feeding on each other back in the United States. They're easy pickings.
Yeah, and listen, Neil, you're absolutely right. There is no doubt. I shudder to think, and I think you probably have thought this over the years. I shudder to think what the United States would be like today if 9/11 were to have happened, thank God it hasn't, under the Obama administration.
Wayne, you know, I want to interrupt to make that as a profound point that people forget. These torture, whatever you want to call them, they just didn't come out of the blue. They were born of something horrific, people ramming planes into buildings, and to this day, others chopping the heads off of Americans and Western people. But we forget what prompted all of this. But go ahead.
Yeah, and Neil, you're right. And think about, reflect back, take a deep breath. Everyone, just reflect back on how seamlessly President Bush, Vice President Cheney, Secretary Rumsfeld, I believe DCI Tenet, the CIA, everyone seamlessly, without hesitation, rolled out this incredible plan, flawed perhaps at times, but no question that it was rolled out seamlessly and in short order to attack the enemy. And remember, Neil, that everyone overlooks, and you and I have had this conversation, it was the first time since 1947, since the National Security Act of 1947 was enacted, that the United States, thanks to President Bush's wisdom and ability to see the future, took the United States from a defensive military posture to an offensive military posture.
Well, the bottom line, I agree with what Pat Brosnan was saying. The bad guys can read us, and they can read our distractions, and if we're not paying attention. And I think that kind of stuff happens. Yeah.
Well, I think that's right. But listen, the lone wolves are here. Make no mistake about it. I've said it over the years. They're already here. It will not be lone wolves at some point. They will get a signal. They will gather up. They will meet. We will not see them. Most likely it will be in one of the mosques that we are allowing them to continue to build in the United States. And then, believe me, something very, very bad and very ominous this way will come.
All right, well, I sure hope you're wrong, my friend, but I suspect you're not. Wayne Simmons, final word. Well, from a terror attack to cops under attack, who are